Hey guys, and welcome to the fish room. I am Rachel O'Leary, and in a fit of rage I just pulled apart my entire first planted tank. This little Nano. The fish that I had ordered arrived today, but obviously after 9 days in the mail they were not alive, and I got real angry, so I figured I'd use sort of the therapy of fish keeping to get control of myself, and in turn I have destroyed my oldest planted tank. But we're going to rebuild it and it'll be better. These tanks over here have been running for a while. This was the tank that was made for me by Brooklyn Hardscape, Christian G and Kevin Kelly for 10,000 subs, believe it or not. That's quite a long time ago. And the light died probably 6 months ago, and I wanted to show you guys how even with just the scatter lighting down here, this tank has continued to thrive. It really defies all odds, and I wanted to show you my drunk parva and then put back together this Nano. So let's get started. If you're new around here, then you're probably unfamiliar with my little Nano corner here. This morning, in a fit of blind rage, I have completely pulled apart my oldest planted tank. You see, I had ordered some fish from a breeder and they took 8 days to arrive. Needless to say, they did not survive. So I decided to do a little aquatic therapy. This tank has been running for a super long time, and I really haven't been doing anything with it, and it needs a revamp. So I went ahead. It was planted with a ton of small form bulbitis. I pulled all that out, and I'm waiting for it to settle down to be able to rescape it. This aquarium is my aquarium that was made for me by Brooklyn Hardscape for 10,000 subs. You can imagine that was quite a while ago. The light died on it months and months and months ago, and with the year I've had, I just haven't done anything about it. But as you can see, the ficus that is grown immersed is doing awesome, and surprisingly, all the plants inside are doing really, really well. Now, it used to be carpeted with dwarf chainsword, and that's disappeared. But everything else is doing fine, just with the scatter lighting that comes from the rest of the fish room. Now, it still has a bunch of subwasser tang, Anubias, bucephalandras, and then growing immersed out of the top is some of the dwarf chainsword that migrated up there, as well as some more Anubias. And Christian G and Kevin Kelly made this aquarium for me, and it's been really successful. It houses some wild guppies that I got as bycatch when I ordered catfish from Colombia. And it's just done really, really well. We'll take a closer look at those fish in a bit. Over here, this aquarium has been running for many, many, many years. It was the first time I used an enriched substrate. It was the first time I used manzanita driftwood. And it was really, really successful for a very long time. For many years, it housed my crystal red colony. Now it just has my pygmy sunfish and some other odds and ends that we're going to get out of there. But this is I don't remember the brand of the tank. It's a low iron one from, gosh, I've probably had it for 8 years or so. And it has a crypt parva carpet that somehow has gotten dwarf sagittaria in there. It still has some Anubias in it. And we're just going to go ahead and try and fix it up a little bit today. While we do so, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the responsibility we have as consumers when ordering fish, and what we need to ask of sellers when they're going to ship. The reality is there's a lot of areas around the world, and especially in the United States, where it's just not feasible to be able to buy our fish from a store. I know for me, even though I do have some, well, I have that fish place close to me, the vast majority of the time they just don't carry and won't order the fish that I've wanted. And that's how my entire fish room came to be, is that I had to order in bulk from overseas in order to get the fish that I wanted to work with. Because of that, a lot of us have to order online, and it is always a risk. It's never, never guaranteed that things will go well. But there's a few things that we can do to make things a bit safer for the fish. First and foremost is always choose the fastest shipping method possible. Now, you'll hear a lot of debate back and forth about whether FedEx is better, UPS is better, USPS is fine. But for me, no matter how the seller ships, I want the fastest method possible. The least amount of time in transit, the better for fish, for ammonia burn, for the temperatures, for everything. Now, being as it's December, my preference would always be for UPS or FedEx, especially because of the more realistic and live updates of tracking. But also in that if the seller is a known live shipper, you can get a refund if your package is late. Now with USPS Express in the fine print, it says that you cannot. The other thing that's important to know is that with USPS Priority, the fine print there says that it can take like 10 to 14 days or something crazy for a package to be delivered. And there's absolutely nothing we can do. And that's what happened to me in this case. The seller downgraded to Priority, even though I paid for Express. And the fish literally sat without moving for an entire week before they made their journey to me. It is exceptionally disappointing. I was extremely excited about getting new fish. And now because of the holidays, I'm going to have to wait until after New Year's to even try and order again and get fish in for my aquarium. And that is just really, really disappointing. You know, I wish that there was some place I could go to buy fish locally that I want, but there's just not. Needless to say, I mean, I'm getting a refund, but that doesn't help with the life of the fish, and I just wish they would have been shipped faster. Now, the reality is they could have showed up dead anyway because it's been profoundly cold, but it's more likely that they would have been just fine and would have arrived here in 24 to 48 hours. I just am so bummed, and I sort of regret tearing this tank completely apart, but whatever. It'll be fine. I just needed to do something to deal with my feelings, and aquarium keeping is really good for that. So I'm just using a bunch of these extra Anubias that I had from my Tropica plant order and just sticking them in here. And now this tank is a stirred up hot mess. Again, I haven't done much with it in many months other than basic water changes because it just hasn't been a priority. But I do want to show you guys how the parva is growing underground. I'm removing as much as I can of the plants that were shading my carpet. This used to be fully carpeted, and I'm hoping to get it back to that. And we'll just see how it goes. I'll leave the fish that are in here for now, pull them at a later date, and restock it. Now, I robbed the light from the other Nano just to show you how the plants look in this one. I think it's really staggeringly impressive, the amount of growth that it has despite not having had a light. And I do plan on addressing that, but it hasn't been a priority. I guess this is an extreme low light Nano. But the fish are doing great. You know, everything gets water changes. They get fed. There's fry everywhere. That's the wild male guppy. I think he's kind of cute. There's the big female, and then there's babies all over the place. Again, it just goes to show you that, like, your mileage with aquatic plants is really going to vary. There's absolutely no reason that this aquarium should be doing this well with literally no light. But it's pretty fascinating, and I look forward to getting into this one, getting a new light, and really fixing it up again, because it's a pretty cool aquarium, especially with that immersed growth ficus in there. But yeah, so just goes to show you, sometimes our aquariums don't read the books to know to follow the rules. The thing that I find most fascinating about this aquarium is this crypt parva growing underneath the soil. It's really crazy, and it's been doing this for at least 5 years now. It's nuts. Now this is on the very bottom there, it's Brightwell, and then it's aqua soil on top, and again that sag is really taken over the parva, but I'm hoping by clearing things out here And getting back on track with this aquarium, we can do a really good rescape in the upcoming weeks. Or, who knows, maybe I'll just take it down and start over. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, guys, if you're having fish shipped, no matter what time of year it is, always, always, always go with the fastest method possible, because it's just not worth risking the fish's health.